Many people are so afraid to shoot high ISO using their Micro Four Thirds system, but I think a little bit of noise is not the end of the world. Recently, I have a shoot where I was required to use ISO 25600. You know what? My images come out perfectly fine. In this video, I want to talk about why you don't have to worry so much about high ISO shooting with your Micro Four Thirds system. Let's do this! I was shooting a play at Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre, or KLPAC. Fun fact, KLPAC is my client. I've been shooting many jobs for KLPAC over the years. But this was not a job. I was not hired to shoot the play. I bought my ticket and attended as an audience. So I thought I would bring a simpler setup. I wouldn't bring my EMR Mark II with all my prime lenses, which I usually do. So I will bring something smaller and easier, this Olympus EPL6, together with a small tele lens. Since I was at a seated position, I couldn't move. So I brought the Olympus 150R. I did not know that I would come to a situation where I needed to use ISO 12800 for most of my shots, in some situations even ISO 25600. Let's take a look at some photographs first. There are some challenges that I faced during this particular shoot. This Olympus Pen EPL6 is quite an old camera. I got it from the used market, and the image stabilization in this camera is no longer working. Therefore, I cannot slow down my shutter speeds even if I want to. Usually, in such low light shooting conditions, I will use my prime lenses, the Olympus 45 f1.8 and the Olympus 75 f1.8. With the bright aperture f1.8, I can gather more light, which would prevent me from going ISO higher than 6400. Typically, I shoot with ISO 3200 or lower, and it was more than sufficient. But I was using this Olympus 40-150R instead. It has a variable aperture of f4 to 5.6 in such dark condition. That was not ideal. Really, the only way to go was to bump up the ISO numbers. The stage light was not very bright, and it does get even dimmer in some situations. So from ISO 12800, at times I have really no choice but to go to the highest ISO number, 25600, maxing out the ISO capability of this Olympus Pen EPL6. And of course, the characters, they don't stay still, they do move a lot. So to prevent motion blur and to freeze action, I need fast shutter speeds. Therefore, really, in this situation, I have no choice but to use high ISO numbers. In this session, I shot everything in RAW and I post-processed my images in Capture One Pro software. I did not use any AI denoise software, but I did use the noise reduction setting in the Capture One Pro software. Looking at the images, though they were shot at very high ISO numbers, I thought they came out really good. Zooming in, of course, you're gonna see a lot of noise. And the images have degraded, you're shooting at ISO 12800 and 25600 on a Micro Four Thirds sensor. I'm not going to expect the image quality to look as good as, say, ISO 1600 or lower. Yes, I see the degradation, yes, I see the problem, but I'm perfectly okay with it. I don't think it's such a big deal. It's definitely not the end of the world. And looking at the images, seriously, I thought they were perfectly usable. The noise is there. Yes, but I think I've also successfully captured the moments. I think at the end of the day, that's what truly matters. And we don't really pixel peep when we show our photographs, sharing it on social media like Instagram, Facebook, on the website. You don't really zoom into 100%, 200%. If you don't pixel peep, I thought the images look perfectly fine. Here are some tips that can help you to deal with low light shooting using your Micro Four Thirds system. Number one, use prime lenses. Having brighter aperture f1.8, f1.2 will help you to gather a lot more light that will prevent you from going high ISO number unnecessarily. Number two, use newer image sensor, especially the 20 megapixels newer image sensor from the Olympus EM1 Mark II. They will have one stop better high ISO noise control compared to this older 16 megapixels image sensor in this Olympus EPL6. Number three, do not underexpose your images, especially in low light situations, especially if you use high ISO. Do not underexpose your images. That's where horror happens when you try to recover the details in the shadows. And finally, number four, if you're still allergic to the noise, if you can't stand the sight of this high ISO noise, well, you can rely on the magic of AI denoise if you really have to. But I hope this particular video, I can prove to you that it doesn't really matter. Noise is not the most important thing. And even if there's noise, it is perfectly fine. You don't have to be afraid of high ISO. You don't have to be afraid of noise. Capture the shot, capture the moment. Those things matter more. I'm sure some people will ask, hey Robin, why don't you use the AI denoise software? Do you have anything against it? No, not really. If you find that the AI denoise software is useful, it helps your photography, by all means, go for it. As for me, I ask myself, am I happy with the results I get from my camera? Am I happy with my current post-processing software? And I've shown to you that the images, as seen in this particular video, I'm happy with them. I'm not the kind of person where when I see a little bit of noise, I cringe and my eyes bleed. I'm okay with noise, and I don't think the noise destroys the photograph at all. I don't think it takes away anything meaningful from the photograph. If I've successfully captured the story, the emotion, if I've captured the moment successfully, then I think that matters more than high ISO noise. But I understand a lot of people are conditioned to think that when they see noise, it's bad and they cannot stand it, so they need to get rid of it. So they turn to the magic of the AI denoise. And I understand. I've tried the Topaz denoise, I've tried the DSO software. They do get rid of all this noise. It is like magic, right? It's so clean, like there's completely no noise. But I'm okay with a little bit of noise. That's why I don't use and I don't see the need for the AI denoise software. That's all I have to share about using very high ISO numbers shooting with your Micro Four Thirds system. I hope you see that it's not a big problem. If you have to use high ISO, use high ISO, and moment matters more than noise. If you found my sharing beneficial, if you've enjoyed looking at my photographs, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal. Links in the description below on how you can do any of that. Any small contribution goes a long way, will definitely help me to continue making more content. Until the next one, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.